Lieutenant Kate Wilson stared at the control panel of her small scout ship. The blue glow from the screens lit up her tired face. She had been out here, near Neptune, for 3 weeks now. Her job was simple. Look for anything strange and report back to Earth. Kate brushed her brown hair from her eyes and checked the radar again. Something wasn't right. There was an energy reading that shouldn't be there. It was like nothing she had ever seen before. Base, this is Scout Ship 17. I'm picking up an unusual energy pattern near my position, requesting permission to investigate. Kate's voice was steady, but she felt a tingle of excitement. This was why she had joined the Space Force, to discover new things. Scout Ship 17, this is Base. You are cleared to investigate, but maintain safe distance. Report every 15 minutes, Kate adjusted her course. The small ship hummed as it moved toward the strange energy. As she got closer, the readings grew stronger. Her screen started to flicker. That's odd, she muttered to herself. The ship's systems were acting up. First the communications, then navigation. One by one they began to fail. Suddenly, space itself seemed to tear open in front of her. It was like watching fabric rip. But the fabric was the blackness of space. Through this tear, Kate saw something that made her breath catch. A massive ship emerged. It was unlike any vessel humans had built. It was black. Not the gray black of metal, but a true, deep black that seemed to swallow light. Across its surface, red lines pulsed like veins in a living thing. It wasn't built like human ships with their boxy, practical designs. This ship looked like it had been grown, not made. Base, are you seeing this? Kate called, but her radio only gave back static. The massive ship was pulling her in. Her engines strained as she tried to turn away, but it was no use. Some kind of force had her. Kate's training kicked in. If she was being captured, she needed to prepare. She backed up her ship's data, put on her full spacesuit, and checked her sidearm. Whatever was on that ship, she would face it ready. The scout ship was pulled into a large opening that appeared in the side of the alien vessel. The walls around her glowed with the same red light that ran across the ship's exterior. Her vessel settled onto a smooth floor, and the opening closed behind her. For several minutes, nothing happened. Kate checked her suit's oxygen levels and waited. Then she heard it, a sound like metal sliding against metal. A doorway was opening in the wall across from her ship. Figures moved in the shadows beyond the doorway. Kate's hand went to her weapon, but she didn't draw it yet. First contact should be peaceful if possible. That was the protocol. The beings that stepped into the light surprised her. They were almost human in shape, 2 arms, 2 legs, 1 head. But they were too tall, too graceful in their movements. Their skin was pale gray, and they wore fitted suits that seemed to flow like liquid. They carried no visible weapons. Behind these first beings came another. Kate knew instantly that this one was different, important. She stood nearly 7 feet tall. Her skin wasn't just pale. It was white like fresh snow and seemed to absorb the light around her. Her hair floated around her head as if she were underwater, silver white and shining. But it was her eyes that held Kate frozen. They were a deep violet color that seemed to contain swirling galaxies. The being approached Kate's ship and gestured. A door opened in the side of Kate's vessel, something that shouldn't have been possible from the outside. Kate took a deep breath and stepped out to meet them. She stood as tall as she could, though the top of her head barely reached the chest of the white-skinned being. I am Lieutenant Kate Wilson of Earth's United Defense Force, she said clearly. I come in peace. The tall being tilted her head, studying Kate with those galaxy eyes. Then she smiled, revealing teeth that were too sharp to be human. You are far from your hive, little one, the being said. Kate was startled to realize she hadn't heard the words with her ears. They had appeared directly in her mind. What curious creatures you humans are, venturing so far with such fragile shells. Kate tried to hide her fear. This being could speak directly into her mind. What else could she do? My name is Lilith, the tall being continued. I am sovereign ruler of the Hemivore Imperium. Your small vessel caught our attention as we passed through this system. Kate swallowed hard. She needed to show strength. These beings had technology far beyond Earth's. If they were hostile, humanity needed to know. If you're going to abduct me, Kate said, attempting to sound braver than she felt, I hope there's at least dinner first. She managed a small smile. I want you to know Earth has protocols for first contact. We seek peaceful relations with other intelligent species. Lilith's lips curled into a wider smile that showed more of those sharp teeth. She stepped closer to Kate, towering over her. The air around her smelled like metal and something sweet that Kate couldn't identify. "Then you shall have me," Lilith whispered, the words echoing in Kate's mind, "in ways your species has only dreamed about in your darkest fantasies." Kate felt a chill run down her spine. There was hunger in those words, but also something else. Interest, amusement, as if Kate were a new toy Lilith had found. The other beings moved forward, surrounding Kate. She tensed, ready to fight if needed, but they made no threatening moves. Instead, they seemed to be waiting for orders. "Come," Lilith said, turning with fluid grace. "You will be given quarters aboard the Crimson Veil. We have much to discuss, Kate Wilson of Earth." "What about my ship?" Kate asked. "And my mission? They'll be looking for me when I don't report back." Lilith paused, looking back over her shoulder. "Your vessel will remain here undamaged. As for your people, they will not find you unless we wish it. The tier through which we traveled has already closed." Kate realized she was trapped, millions of miles from home, aboard an alien vessel with beings whose intentions were unclear. But she was also the first human to make contact with an advanced alien species. Whatever happened next would be historic. "Lead the way," Kate said, deciding that cooperation was her best option for now. She would watch, learn, and look for a way to contact Earth. These hemivores, whatever they were, clearly had technology that could help humanity, or destroy it. As she followed Lilith through the organic-looking corridors of the alien ship, Kate couldn't help but wonder what the alien queen had meant by her words. "Then you shall have me." It sounded like both a promise and a threat. One thing was certain: joking with an alien vampire queen probably hadn't been her smartest move. Kate followed Lilith through the strange ship. The walls seemed alive. They pulsed with red light that flowed like blood through veins. The floor was smooth and warm under her feet, not cold like metal should be. "What is this place made of?" Kate asked, running her hand along a wall. It felt like touching skin that was slightly cool. Lilith glanced back at her. "The Crimson Veil is grown, not built. It is alive in ways your vessels are not." They arrived at a large door that opened by itself. Inside was a room bigger than Kate's entire apartment back on Earth. A bed that looked almost normal sat against one wall. There were strange plants growing from the ceiling, giving off a soft blue light. "These will be your quarters," Lilith said. "You will not be harmed here. Food and water compatible with your biology will be provided." Kate turned to face the tall alien queen. "Am I a prisoner or a guest?" Lilith's galaxy eyes studied her. "That depends on what we learn about each other. For now, rest. We will speak again soon." The door closed behind Lilith, leaving Kate alone. She checked the room carefully but found no obvious cameras or listening devices. The door was locked from the outside. She was indeed a prisoner, no matter what Lilith said. Kate slept fitfully on the strange bed. She dreamed of violet eyes watching her in the dark. When she woke, a tray of food waited on a table that hadn't been there before. The food looked like fruits and bread, but in colors she had never seen before. Her stomach growled. She hadn't eaten in many hours. "Here goes nothing," she muttered, taking a small bite. It tasted surprisingly good, sweet with a hint of spice. She ate it all. Hours passed. Kate explored her room looking for weaknesses but found none. Then the door opened again. Lilith stood there, now wearing a flowing red dress that seemed to move on its own. "Come," the alien queen said. "It is time you learned why you are here." Kate followed Lilith to a large room with a ceiling so high she couldn't see the top. In the center was a glowing table showing a 3D map of stars and planets. "This is the Hemivore Imperium," Lilith said, waving her hand. Part of the map lit up, showing thousands of star systems. "We have existed for over 50,000 of your years." Kate stared at the map. The empire was huge. "And what are hemivores exactly?" Lilith smiled, showing her sharp teeth. "We evolved beyond the need for solid food long ago. We draw energy directly from the bioelectric fields of other beings. You might call it life force." "You're vampires," Kate said, understanding dawning. "You feed on blood." "A simple way to put it, but not incorrect," Lilith replied. "Blood carries the essence we need. But unlike your myths, we do not need to kill to feed. Though it is easier that way." Kate stepped back. "Is that why I'm here? To be food?" Lilith laughed. The sound was like breaking glass. "If that were all we wanted, we would have harvested your planet already." "No, Kate Wilson. You are here because your species is unique. Human blood contains compounds that affect us like nothing else we have found. It is deintoxicating," Kate's mind raced. So Earth is just a snack bar to you? Your planet has caught our interest, yes. But we do not conquer in the way you might think. We require only a small percentage of your population for sustenance. The rest may continue their lives, perhaps even benefit from our technologies. Kate felt sick. Humans would never agree to that. We don't offer ourselves up as food. Lilith's face grew serious. They will agree because the alternative is worse. The Draconan Alliance has already marked your system for cleansing. The what? Kate asked. Lilith touched the map again. A new section lit up showing crystal-like ships. The Draconans, they harvest worlds for minerals, killing all life in the process. They have already begun moving toward your solar system. Kate didn't know if she should believe this. It could be a trick. Prove it, she said. Lilith stepped close to Kate. I can show you, but it requires a bond. A sharing of blood. Kate backed away. No way. It is the only way you will understand the threat, Lilith said. The bond is sacred among my kind. I would not offer it lightly, Kate thought quickly. If Lilith was telling the truth, Earth was in danger. If she was lying, Kate was no worse off than before. Fine, she said. But nothing permanent. Lilith's eyes glowed brighter. Very well. She took Kate's hand and led her to a small room with a pool of red liquid in the center. This is the communion chamber. Here our minds can connect. Kate felt fear rise in her chest, but she forced it down. What do I need to do? Nothing. Simply remain still. Lilith stepped behind Kate. Her cold breath tickled Kate's neck. This may hurt for a moment. Before Kate could respond, she felt a sharp pain in her neck. Lilith's fangs pierced her skin. The world around her blurred and changed. Kate saw stars and planets rushing past. Then a fleet of ships like crystal spears. They approached a green planet. Beams of light shot down. The planet's surface turned gray and dead. All life wiped out in minutes. Then she saw Earth, the same crystal ships approaching. The same beams preparing to fire. Kate gasped as Lilith pulled away. She stumbled and nearly fell, but the alien queen caught her. Now you see, Lilith whispered. The Draconans will reach your system in 6 months. Your weapons cannot stop them. Kate's head spun with the vision and blood loss. But yours can? Lilith nodded. The Hemivore fleet has fought the Draconans before. We can defend your world, but we require payment. Blood donors, Kate said, understanding the deal being offered. Volunteers only, Lilith said. We have evolved beyond taking by force. It is inefficient. Kate touched her neck where Lilith had bitten her. The wound was already healing, faster than should be possible. What did you do to me? The bond allows healing, Lilith explained. And a connection between us. I can sense your thoughts and feelings now, as you can sense mine if you try. Kate closed her eyes and concentrated. She felt something alien in her mind, ancient and powerful. Lilith's presence, and with it came understanding. The alien queen was telling the truth about the threat. I need to warn Earth, Kate said. Yes, Lilith agreed. You will be our ambassador. Help your people understand that the Hemivore Imperium offers protection in exchange for sustenance. It is a fair arrangement considering the alternative. Kate wasn't sure about fair, but she knew they needed help against these Draconans. I'll need to contact my superiors. We will return to Earth orbit, Lilith said. From there, you may communicate with your leaders. Convince them, Kate Wilson. The fate of your species depends on it. As they left the communion chamber, Kate felt the bond between them pulsing like the red veins in the ship's walls. Lilith had taken her blood but had given something in return, a chance to save Earth. Kate just hoped she hadn't made a deal with a devil. Admiral Susan Bennett stared at the screen in the Earth Defense Command Center. The message had come in 10 minutes ago. It showed Lieutenant Kate Wilson, who had been missing for 3 months. Everyone thought she was dead after her scout ship disappeared near Neptune. Now here she was, alive and standing next to a being that looked almost human but wasn't. Play it again, Susan ordered. The technician nodded and restarted the video. This is Lieutenant Kate Wilson of Scout Ship 17, Kate's image said. She looked thinner than before and her skin was paler. I am currently aboard the alien vessel, Crimson Veil in Earth orbit. The beings who found me are called Hemivores. Their leader, Queen Lilith, stands beside me. The camera moved to show the tall, white-skinned being with violet eyes. Earth is in danger. Not from the Hemivores, but from another alien race called the Draconans. They will reach our solar system in about 6 months. They plan to destroy all life on Earth to harvest our planet's resources. The tall alien stepped forward. I am Lilith, sovereign of the HFY Imperium. We offer an alliance with Earth. My fleet will defend your world against the Draconan threat. In exchange, we require volunteers to provide sustenance for our kind. We feed on bioelectric energy carried in the blood. The process need not be fatal or harmful if properly managed. Kate came back on screen. I know how this sounds, but I've seen the Draconan fleet. They've destroyed entire worlds. We can't fight them alone. The HFYs can help us. I request a meeting with Earth's leaders to discuss terms. Please respond on this frequency. The screen went dark. The room was silent. It could be a trick, General Harris said finally. Wilson could be under their control. Or that might not even be her. Susan shook her head. That's Kate. I trained her myself. She used our emergency verification codes in the transmission header. It's really her. So we're supposed to believe that space vampires want to protect us from space crystals? Someone else asked. Several people laughed nervously. We've detected an unknown vessel in high Earth orbit, the sensor officer reported. It matches nothing in our database. It's big, at least 5 times the size of our largest ship. Have they made any aggressive moves? Susan asked. No, Admiral. They're just waiting. Susan made her decision. Send a response. Tell Lieutenant Wilson we'll meet with her in this.
Queen Lilith.
But on neutral ground, the International Space Station. 2 days later, Susan waited in the conference room of the ISS. 6 armed guards stood against the walls. Earth's Defense Council had sent 3 representatives to join her. The door opened. Kate entered first, wearing her Space Force uniform. Behind her came the alien queen. In person, Lilith was even more striking than in the video. She moved with impossible grace in the station's artificial gravity. Her white skin seemed to glow slightly, and those violet eyes took in everything. Lieutenant Wilson, Susan said formally. You've been missing for 3 months, Kate saluted. Yes, Admiral. Time works differently when traveling through the tiers in space that the HFYs use. Tiers in space? One of the council members asked. Lilith spoke, her voice melodic and strange. Your species understands the concept of wormholes. We have mastered the creation of similar pathways between distant points. Susan studied the alien queen. You claim Earth is in danger from these Draconans. Do you have proof? Lilith nodded to Kate, who set a small device on the table. It projected a 3D image of crystal-like ships. This is the Draconan fleet, Kate explained. They're currently near the Kuiper Belt, but moving inward. Their technology is far beyond ours. And why would these Draconans want to destroy us? Susan asked. They do not destroy out of malice, Lilith said. They harvest. Organic life interferes with their mining operations, so they remove it. Your planet is rich in minerals they value. And you? Susan looked directly at Lilith. What do you want from us? Lilith smiled, showing her sharp teeth. As I said in my message, we require sustenance. Human blood has properties unique in our experience. It provides not just energy, but pleasure. In exchange for defense against the Draconans, we ask for volunteers to provide blood donations. You're vampires, one of the council members said flatly. A simplification, but not entirely inaccurate, Lilith agreed. We evolved beyond solid food millennia ago. Susan turned to Kate. And you trust them? You believe this threat is real? Kate nodded. I've seen it through the blood bond. The Draconans have destroyed dozens of worlds. They won't negotiate or show mercy. Blood bond? Susan asked sharply. Kate touched her neck where 2 small marks were visible. Queen Lilith and I share a connection. It allows transfer of thoughts and memories. That's how I know the threat is real. The council members whispered among themselves. Finally, one asked, How many donors would you need? Fewer than you might think, Lilith said. 1 human can sustain several of my kind for a month before needing recovery time. A rotation of perhaps 10,000 volunteers would be sufficient for my entire fleet. 10,000 people to save billions, Kate added. It seems like a fair trade. Susan wasn't convinced. We'll need time to discuss this. And verification of the Draconan threat? Send your ships to look, Lilith suggested. But do not approach too closely. The Draconans will destroy any vessel they detect. The meeting continued for hours. Questions were asked and answered. By the end, even the skeptics were starting to believe. We will bring your proposal to the Full World Council, Susan said finally. But I must warn you, many will resist the idea of humans serving as food. They may resist now, Lilith said, but when the Draconan ships appear in your skies, they will reconsider. We will remain in orbit awaiting your answer. As the meeting ended, Susan pulled Kate aside. "Are you okay, really?" Kate smiled tiredly. "I'm fine, Admiral. The Hemivores have treated me well. And the blood bond. It's not what you think. It's more like a sharing than taking." Susan looked at the younger woman carefully. There was something different about Kate now. A confidence and calmness that hadn't been there before. "You've changed. I've seen things no human has seen before," Kate replied. "It changes your perspective." Over the next week, Earth scientists confirmed the approach of unknown objects from the outer solar system. They were still too far away for detailed scans, but their trajectory matched what Lilith had described. The World Council debated fiercely. Some wanted to try to fight both alien races. Others wanted to surrender to the Draconans, hoping for mercy. But in the end, facing extinction, they chose the Hemivores' offer. A month later, the first volunteers arrived at specially built centers around the world. They were carefully screened and briefed. The process was simple. The Hemivores would take a small amount of blood, no more than a regular blood donation. In return, Earth would receive protection from the coming threat. Kate served as the main liaison between humans and Hemivores. She moved between Earth and the Crimson Veil, explaining each species to the other. Through her blood bond with Lilith, she helped smooth misunderstandings before they became problems. Susan watched all this with growing concern. Sometimes when Kate spoke about the Hemivores, her eyes seemed to shine with a violet light just for a moment. Was the blood bond changing her into something not fully human? But there was no time to worry about one person. The Draconan fleet was getting closer every day, and Earth needed to prepare for war. The Draconan fleet arrived without warning. One moment Earth's skies were clear. The next, over 300 crystal ships appeared in orbit. They had somehow bypassed all the early warning systems. In the Earth Defense Command Center, alarms blared. Screens showed the massive alien vessels taking position around the planet. "Where did they come from?" Susan shouted over the noise. "How did they get past our sensors?" "Unknown, Admiral," the sensor officer replied. "They just appeared." The largest Draconan ship, a massive crystal spear nearly 10 miles long, moved into position over North America. "Energy readings from the vessel spiked. They're charging weapons," someone yelled. Susan grabbed the communication console. "All defense platforms, open fire. All ships launch and engage." Earth's orbital defense platforms, hastily built over the past few months, fired their lasers and missiles at the crystal ships. The weapons hit their targets but seemed to do no damage. The crystal surfaces absorbed or reflected everything thrown at them. The Draconan flagship fired. A beam of blue-white energy shot toward Earth, aimed at the Defense Command Center. Susan and everyone in the room braced for death, but the beam never hit. Space itself seemed to tear open between the Draconan ship and Earth. The tear swallowed the energy beam. Then, from dozens of similar tiers around the planet, the Hemivore fleet emerged. The black ships with their pulsing red veins moved with incredible speed and precision. They surrounded the Draconan vessels, firing weapons that looked like streams of crimson lightning. Unlike Earth's weapons, these cut through the crystal hulls. In the middle of the Hemivore fleet was the Crimson Veil, twice as large as when Susan had last seen it. It moved toward the Draconan flagship, firing continuously. "The Hemivores are engaging the enemy," the communications officer reported unnecessarily. Everyone could see the battle unfolding on the screens. Susan's comm unit buzzed. It was Kate. "Admiral, this is Lieutenant Wilson. I'm aboard the Crimson Veil with Queen Lilith. The Draconans arrived earlier than expected, but we're engaging them now." "We see that," Susan replied. "Our weapons had no effect." "Draconan hulls are made of living crystal," Kate explained. "They can absorb or redirect most energy weapons. The Hemivores use weapons that disrupt the crystal structure." On the screen, Susan watched as a Draconan ship broke apart under the Hemivore attack. But for every crystal ship that fell, the Draconans destroyed a Hemivore vessel as well. "We need to help," Susan decided. "All Earth ships coordinate with the Hemivore vessels. Target what they target. Even if our weapons don't destroy them, we can distract the Draconans." The battle raged for hours. From the ground, people around the world watched strange lights and explosions in the sky. Many prayed. Some panicked. All knew that the fate of their planet was being decided above them. Aboard the Crimson Veil, Kate stood on the bridge beside Lilith. The alien queen directed her fleet with graceful gestures, each movement sending commands to her ships through some kind of mental link. Kate felt the battle through her blood bond with Lilith. Each destroyed Hemivore ship caused the Queen pain. Each victory brought fierce joy. The emotions flowed between them, alien yet understandable. "They're retreating," Kate observed as the remaining Draconan ships pulled back to the far side of the moon. "We won." Lilith shook her head, her silver-white hair floating around her face. "Not victory. Only a brief respite. They will call for reinforcements." Kate studied the tactical display. The Hemivore fleet had lost nearly a third of its ships. The Draconans had lost more, but they could afford it. There were thousands more where they came from. "We need a new strategy," Kate said. "We can't win a war of attrition." Lilith turned her galaxy eyes to Kate. "There is another way. The Draconans are a hive mind. Their ships are controlled by a central intelligence on their flagship. If that were disrupted, we could disable their entire fleet," Kate finished. "But how do we get to their flagship? It's heavily guarded." "A small team might slip through while our main fleet engages them," Lilith suggested. "Once aboard, they could upload a virus to their central systems." Kate thought about it. "I could lead the team. My scout training makes me good at infiltration." "Too dangerous," Lilith said immediately. "If you die, you'll feel it through our bond," Kate acknowledged. "But that's exactly why it has to be me. I'm connected to you. You can guide me once I'm inside." Lilith was silent for a long moment. "Your mind has become more like ours than I expected. You think in terms of the greater good now?" "I always did," Kate replied. "That's why I joined the Space Force. To protect Earth." Lilith touched Kate's face with cool fingers. "Very well. But you will not go alone. My royal guards will accompany you." As they planned the mission, Kate contacted Admiral Bennett to coordinate Earth's forces. "It's risky," Susan said when Kate explained the plan. "But it might be our only chance. I'll assign our best Special Forces team to go with you." The plan was set. While the main Hemivore fleet engaged the Draconans, a small fast ship would slip around the battle and approach the Draconan flagship from behind. Once aboard, Kate's team would fight their way to the central cortex and upload a virus designed to disrupt the hive mind. As Kate prepared for the mission, she received a message from Earth. It was from her parents. They had been told she was alive and leading a critical mission. The message was simple: "We're proud of you. Come home safe." Kate felt a lump in her throat. Would she ever see home again? The mission was beyond dangerous. But if they failed, there would be no home to return to. Lilith found Kate staring at the message. Through their bond, she felt Kate's emotions. "Fear is natural before battle," the alien queen said softly. "Even my kind feel it." "I'm not afraid to die," Kate said. "I'm afraid to fail." Lilith's eyes glowed brighter. "You will not fail. I have existed for millennia, Kate Wilson. I have seen countless species rise and fall. Humans are young, but your adaptability is remarkable. That is why your blood calls to us so strongly. It carries the essence of change and possibility." Kate looked up at the towering queen. "Is that why you chose to help us? Because our blood tastes good?" Lilith smiled, showing her sharp teeth. "Initially, yes. But now, there are other reasons." Through their bond, Kate felt something unexpected from Lilith. Affection, respect, and something deeper she couldn't name. It was not human love, but it was powerful nonetheless. "The Draconans are returning," a Hemivore officer reported. "Their numbers have grown." Lilith straightened, her moment of softness gone. "Prepare for battle. Launch all ships." Kate checked her weapons one last time. The infiltration team, 5 human Special Forces soldiers and 3 Hemivore Royal Guards, waited in the launch bay. Their ship was small and fast, designed for stealth rather than combat. "Remember," Kate told the team, "once we're aboard, we'll have limited time. The virus must be uploaded directly to their central cortex. Our Hemivore allies will guide us through the ship." The humans looked uncertainly at the tall, pale Hemivores. Despite weeks of working together, there was still fear and distrust on both sides. "We fight together or die separately," Kate said firmly. "Set aside your differences for now." As they boarded the small ship, Kate felt Lilith's presence in her mind grow stronger. "I will be with you," the Queen's voice echoed in her thoughts. "Through every step." The second battle for Earth began as the Draconan fleet emerged from behind the moon. They had doubled their numbers somehow. The Hemivore fleet moved to engage them, creating a chaotic battlefield that would hopefully hide Kate's small ship as it sped toward its target. Kate looked back at Earth. Blue, green and white against the blackness of space. Everything she had ever known was on that small ball of rock and water. It was worth any sacrifice to protect. Launch, she ordered. The small ship shot forward, heading toward the largest crystal vessel and the heart of the enemy. The small ship slipped through the battle unnoticed. Explosions of red and blue energy lit up space around them as Hemovor and Draconan forces clashed. Kate piloted the vessel with steady hands, weaving between debris and energy beams. Approaching the Draconan flagship, she announced to her team, "Everyone ready for boarding." The Draconan ship loomed ahead, a massive crystal spear that glittered coldly in the light from Earth's sun. Unlike the black organic look of Hemovor vessels, this ship was all sharp angles and clear surfaces. It was beautiful in a cold, dead way. There, one of the Hemovor guards pointed, a maintenance port on the lower section. Their defenses will be weaker there. Kate guided their ship toward the spot. As they got closer, she could see that the crystal surface had small openings like pores in skin. She aimed for the largest one. "Brace for impact," she warned. Then she fired the ship's front thrusters, slowing them just enough to avoid being destroyed as they crashed into the opening. The sound of crystal cracking filled their ears as their ship wedged itself into the port. Warning lights flashed across Kate's control panel. "Ship integrity compromised," the computer announced. "Hull breach in lower deck. Everybody out," Kate ordered. "Suits sealed and weapons ready." The team pulled on their space helmets and checked their weapons. The 3 Hemovors didn't need helmets. Their kind could survive in vacuum for short periods. They forced open the airlock and emerged into a crystal tunnel that pulsed with blue light. The tunnel seemed to be healing itself around their ship, crystal growing to seal the breach they had made. "Move fast," Kate said. "This place is alive somehow." Through her bond with Lilith, Kate felt guidance, a sense of which way to go. "This way," she pointed down a tunnel that sloped upward. "The central cortex is near the middle of the ship." They moved quickly through the strange vessel. The interior was a maze of crystal tunnels and chambers. Everything glowed with the same blue light. There were no signs or markings that Kate could see, but the Hemovors seemed to know which way to go. "How are they navigating?" one of the human soldiers whispered to Kate. "Hemovors can sense energy patterns," Kate explained. "The Draconan hive mind gives off a specific signature." They encountered no resistance at first. Then they reached a large chamber where the blue light was brighter. Inside were Draconans. Kate had seen images of them, but never in person. They were crystalline beings shaped roughly like humans, but with no features on their faceted heads. They moved with jerky mechanical motions. There were about 20 of them, working at what looked like control panels made of the same crystal as everything else. "We need to go through there," the lead Hemovor guard said quietly. "The cortex is just beyond." Kate studied the room. "We can't fight that many without alerting the whole ship. We need a distraction." One of the human soldiers, Sergeant Maya Chen, pulled a small device from her pack. "I have flashbangs modified for this environment. They'll overload the crystal's ability to transmit light for a few seconds." "Good," Kate nodded. "We throw those in, then move fast through the chamber. Don't engage unless necessary." They positioned themselves around the entrance to the chamber. Maya counted down with her fingers. 3, 2, 1, she tossed the devices into the room. They exploded in blinding flashes of light that seemed to be absorbed and then magnified by the crystal surfaces. The Draconans froze, their movements becoming even more jerky and uncoordinated. "Now!" Kate shouted. The team rushed into the room, running past the confused Draconans. Most of the aliens didn't react, still disoriented by the light overload, but a few turned toward the intruders, extending arms that ended in crystal blades. One of the human soldiers fired his weapon. The laser blast hit a Draconan but was absorbed and then redirected back at them. The soldier fell, a smoking hole in his chest. "No energy weapons," Kate yelled. "Physical attacks only." The Hemovor guards moved with incredible speed, engaging the Draconans hand to hand. Their strength was impressive. They could shatter the crystal beings with powerful blows. The remaining humans used combat knives or the butts of their weapons. Kate fought her way across the chamber, Lilith's presence guiding her. A Draconan lunged at her with a crystal blade. She ducked under it and drove her knife up into what she hoped was a vulnerable spot. The creature shattered, breaking into pieces that continued to move independently. "Keep going," she shouted to her team. "Don't stop." They fought their way to the far side of the chamber. 2 more humans and 1 Hemovor fell during the battle. By the time they reached the exit, alarms were sounding throughout the ship, a high-pitched whine that made Kate's teeth hurt. "They know we're here," Maya said, breathing hard. The whole ship will be after us now. The tunnel beyond the chamber spiraled upward. As they climbed, Kate felt Lilith's presence grow stronger in her mind. "You are close," the Queen's voice echoed. "The cortex is just ahead. But be warned, the Draconans will protect it with everything they have." The tunnel ended at a sealed door made of denser crystal than the surrounding walls. It pulsed with bright blue light. "The cortex is beyond this door," one of the hemovores confirmed. "But we cannot break through by force. It is too strong." Kate examined the door. There was no visible lock or control panel. "How do the Draconans open it?" "They are connected to their ship," the hemovore explained. "They command it with thought." Kate remembered something Lilith had told her. The Draconans are a hive mind. They recognize each other through some kind of psychic signature. She turned to Maya. "Give me one of the flashbangs." Maya handed her the device. Kate carefully opened it and rewired the internal components. "If I modify this to emit the right frequency." Working quickly, she adjusted the device using knowledge that seemed to flow into her mind from Lilith. When she finished, she placed it against the door. "Everyone back," she ordered. The team retreated down the tunnel. Kate activated the device and ran to join them. The modified flashbang didn't explode. Instead, it emitted a high-frequency pulse that made the crystal door vibrate. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the door slowly dissolved, creating an opening. "It worked," Kate said, surprised. The door recognized the signal as Draconan. They rushed through the opening into a vast spherical chamber. In the center floated a large crystal that pulsed with blinding blue light. Streams of energy flowed from it to the walls of the chamber. "That's it," Kate said. "The central cortex. The controlling intelligence of the Draconan fleet." She pulled out a small device. The virus they had brought to disrupt the hive mind. It was a joint creation of Earth and hemovore technology, designed to overwhelm the Draconan control system. "Cover me," she told the remaining team members. "I need to get to the center." As they moved into the chamber, crystal panels in the walls slid open. Draconans poured out, dozens of them all moving to protect the central crystal. The fight was brutal and quick. The remaining hemovore guards engaged the Draconans, shattering crystal bodies with powerful blows. Maya and the last human soldier fired weapons they had taken from fallen Draconans, crystal spears that fired shards of energy. Kate ran for the central crystal, dodging fighting pairs and energy blasts. Behind her, she heard Maya cry out in pain. She didn't look back. The central crystal hovered just out of reach. Kate looked around and saw a control panel nearby. She placed her hands on it and through her bond with Lilith knew what to do. The panel responded to her touch, lowering the crystal until it was within reach. "Kate, hurry!" Maya shouted. She was the only human left standing, fighting alongside the last hemovore guard. They were surrounded by Draconans. Kate placed the virus device against the crystal. It attached itself, drilling into the surface. Lights on the device flashed as it began uploading the virus. A sharp pain hit Kate's shoulder. She looked down to see a crystal shard protruding from her spacesuit. Blood floated in small droplets around the wound in the low gravity. She turned to see a Draconan aiming another shard at her. Before it could fire, the last hemovore guard tackled it, both of them shattering on impact. Maya fought her way to Kate's side, firing continuously to keep the Draconans back. "How much longer?" Maya gasped, bleeding from multiple wounds. Kate checked the device. 30 seconds. She drew her knife with her good arm, ready to fight alongside Maya. The Draconans pressed closer. Maya fell, a crystal shard through her chest. Kate stood alone, knife in hand, as the crystal beings closed in. 20 seconds, she muttered, slashing at a Draconan that got too close. More were coming. She wouldn't last 20 seconds. Then she felt it. Lilith's presence, stronger than ever before. Power flowed through their bond, filling Kate with strength that wasn't entirely human. Her vision sharpened. Her movements became faster. Kate fought with inhuman speed and strength, shattering Draconans with her bare hands. But there were too many. A crystal blade cut across her leg. Another pierced her side. She fell to her knees beside the central crystal, still protecting the virus device. 10 seconds, she whispered, blood floating from her lips in the low gravity. A Draconan stood over her. Crystal blade raised for the killing blow. Kate looked up at it, defiant to the end. The blade never fell. The Draconan froze, its movements becoming jerky and uncoordinated. Around the chamber, all the crystal beings stopped fighting. The virus was working.